Hi, hello everybody, and welcome back to D Plus Us Weekly, the show where we talk about shows exclusive to Disney Plus, episode by episode, week by week, for our enjoyment and yours. I'm one of your hosts, Griffin Tennell, Griffy Deephead, and with me, as always, is the wonderful, the amazing Mr. Mitch George. Bright Suns, how are you doing tonight?
You and I both know that I'm fucking exhausted. I know that was too early in the video to swear, but I don't care. So we're going to talk some Star Wars, and I'm going to ramble a bunch because I'm way too tired, and I only had 2 coffees today, and it was definitely a 3-coffee day. So this is what you get.
A shocking twist to you, Mitch. I have had no coffee today.
What were you just drinking? Was that
Coke.
diet soda?
It's not even diet. It's normal soda.
Oh, okay. I default to diet. Okay, so I went through this whole phase like 4 or 5 years ago where I'm like, I'm going to lose so much weight by just switching to diet soda. Diet pop, as it's called here. If I don't say pop, all the Canadians are going to come at me. I was just trying to use your vernacular.
They shouldn't, because that's dumb.
Is Portland pop or soda?
It's soda.
Okay,
I mean,
I know
it's one of those where it's like
it's
a reasonable thing, but frankly, calling it pop is just dumb. Like, let's call it as it is.
Soda pop.
Still dumb.
It's both. It's one syllable versus 2. Okay. We're not going to get into this, okay?
It's still dumb. I have no reason for saying it. It just is.
Either way, a few years ago, I made the switch only to diet soda or pop or soda pop, depending on where you're from. And it's really hard for me to drink a regular sugary soda now because it's too sweet. I had one earlier. Carmen brought home, her work ordered too much cherry Coke. And honestly, there's no such thing as too much cherry Coke.
That is a wild problem to have.
She brought home 6 cans cherry Coke. I'm like, I guess I'm going to drink this, even though it's too sugary for me. But my Coke Zero has a Hulk on it, and that's pretty cool. That's neat for the listeners.
Daredevil.
Yeah, I bought this case from Costco, and it's just been Hulk.
I'm not gonna lie. Part of the reason that I've gone back to regular Coke has been this stupid Coca-Cola advertising
you
cycle
get them on
with
the diet cans.
Yeah, but I saw Daredevil on the all red normal Coke can. I was like, that's cool. And then I threw away the can. It was so stupid. It was totally pointless. But they fucking got me, Mitch.
I also got a Marvel Corksicle, and I've never owned a Corksicle. And now I understand the hype behind Stanley's because, having an actual tumbler keeps things cold. And it's nice.
Folks, we'll talk about Star Wars, I promise. No, Corksicle is great. I love mine. I've been using it for a while now.
So I wanted to get one the last time I was in Disney, but when I did the math, getting the Spider-Man in there one at Disney Springs full price was like 80 Canadian dollars. I'm just like, nah, I ain't about this.
It is not worth it to get them there. I am normally not a proponent of using this website and whatnot, but you can typically find deals on them on Amazon. Amazon has them on sale a lot.
So
at least in the U.S. At least in the U.S.
I was going to say, they don't sell them on Amazon's website as far as I know. But
as always, I do not like Amazon, but
it does look like they have some of them. But no, this was directly from the manufacturer's website. Oh, yeah, they do. Oh, interesting. All right, closing that. What are we talking about again?
We're talking about the Acolyte. I'm already getting distracted. I just got an email about PAX badges. Anyways, yeah, we're talking about the Acolyte episode 6, Teach/Corrupt. This man, goddamn, this show, man. I feel
I
they
like
stepped it up so much.
Well, we slowed down a lot from last week, which I think the pacing of the show has been really interesting. Where we had this big build to the fights in last week's episode, and now we've got a little more character development. I think it's a nice balance, so to speak, especially going back to the dual title episodes and this split between May and Osha and their experiences in Osha being the one being taught and May being the one trying to corrupt. And interestingly enough, seeing the inverse of what we saw with the first half of the season when it was May or Osha with Soul. Mm-hmm. I really, really like this dynamic between Osha and the stranger dude. Should we call him Manny?
Yeah, I mean, it's Manny Jacinto. We will call him Manny Jacinto.
Yeah, Kamir, Manny,
presuming
the stranger,
Kamir is his actual name. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't make it his actual name.
I think we're gonna have to wait and find out because he's still credited as the stranger. So I don't think we really know. I think we talked. Well, we did our mega episode last week, and I talked about the fact that the flashback episode was written together with, I believe it was
The
the
next
next
episode.
episode, episode
Yeah.
7, which feels like it's going to get into May's version of the flashback.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to get that. It sounds like we're going to get some background because it seems like, of course, folks, I forgot to mention this is full spoiler for the entire show.
Oh, yeah, we're already there.
It sounds like we're going to get some interestingness around Kamir's training as a Jedi and presumably his master being, what's her name with the whip?
Vernestra.
Vernestra. Because, like, clearly she has some issues here. I'd be really interested if we see that part. I would love it. We might see some stuff about, May's side of things. I don't think it's going to be May's side of things, though. I think it's going to be
Kamir.
I think it's going to be Souls.
Oh, okay, that would be interesting. I was
the way that
maybe
episode ends.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's going to be Souls telling them to May of what actually happened. Yeah. Because we do have this man who, for the most part, is good. Maybe a little hard to tell at the end of this episode. That was some real threatening, terrifying speech at the end of that episode. But
yeah, Lee Jung Jae was a great casting choice here because you can never really tell. He gets very emotional at times, but he's all like, there's this layer, and I think honestly across the board, well, not across the board, I do have some reservations about the actor that played Yord, at least from some of the interviews I've seen. But I think Manny Jacinto, Amanda Stenberg, and Lee Jung Jae are absolutely stellar in their roles in this show. And it only gets better in this episode with this dichotomy of master and apprentice, both on either side of the conflict. I'm not going to say light side or dark side, because I think there's a lot of really interesting dichotomies being explored here that I had hoped we were going to see more of in the sequel trilogy, with the relationship between Rey and Kylo Ren. And then J.J. Abrams did the I'm going to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks of episode 9, and we didn't get enough of that development. I think we're taking the time here to develop some of that narrative, and it's really, really, really fun to see them playing with that dynamic between light and dark and what that means to these characters moving forward.
Yeah, I loved it especially with the settings that it used. This unknown planet that Manny is on, which I swear is just Octo.
It's not Octo. Okay.
I know it's not.
So
it's not, but it looks like
confirmed. Yeah. Leslie Headland confirmed this is not Octo, although it drew a lot of inspiration from that planet.
I know it's not that planet, but it's functioning very similarly.
It is. But her interview was very... Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
But mostly just the fact of Manny having this place to hide out. And what's interesting about it is, for being the quote-unquote villain, it is a place that is at total peace.
For now.
The biggest conflict in this space is him going swimming. Goddamn, Manny Jacinto is jacked for this role. I mean, he looks great.
Yeah, absolutely freaking killing it.
But then, meanwhile, on the Jedi side of it, you do have the kind of chaos of this ship, of the order checking in, of everything happening here, and I love how that is that back and forth of, hey, maybe we do need to take a step back, look at the actions of the Jedi, and be like, okay, what is happening? That's kind of been a lot of the point of the show. So to see that in both like the actual actions and dialogue and what's happening in the show mirrored by the settings was something I really thought was a fun use.
Yeah, I think what's interesting here, of just going back to the planet for a quick second, with the showrunner confirming that it is not Octo, and that it is instead a planet that is rich in cortosis, which is the metal that the stranger, Kamir, whatever you want to call him, has made this helmet out of. That allows him both to use it as a sensory deprivation helmet, as well as what is explained here, which is something that they get into in the expanded universe of Star Wars, the metal disrupts lightsabers, and we saw that in the fight, and it was really neat. And I do think that he's here. We had a bit of a conversation before the pod about, oh, this is such a badass. He's just got a helmet. I think he's here to build a suit of armor or some level of defense against the Jedi, because he just seems to want to be left alone. And there's another planet that is similar in description to this that would suit the story that they're trying to weave in here, and that's Baldemnik. So Baldemnik is another planet similar to Octo, and maybe we're seeing this parallel between the birth of the Sith versus the birthplace of the Jedi, because Baldemnik is, in the expanded universe, known as the planet where Darth Plagueis the Wise betrayed his master and became the Sith Lord. So maybe in some weird way we're building to that. Although I don't know.
I could see that. I don't know if they're necessarily building a full suit. I know Cortosis has had its, as far as EU is great. As far as canon is concerned, Cortosis has popped up a bunch. It's just not in TV movies. It is often a comic book thing. It is often Thrawn uses Cortosis. Like, it's definitely been there. So the fact that he has it is very interesting to me. I don't know if they will follow through on it as this big story point. I think, like he says, what does he want? He wants the power of two, which is a line that I feel like is super, super important in this. That also kind of feels like it's getting overlooked by a lot of the reaction to this episode. Which, of course,
I can't see how with the way that it ends with the helmet. Like,
well, the most important part of this episode, of course, being the fact that shoot, what's his name? What's the weird little shit's name?
Basil.
Basil is again the goat. He is again the best.
Snitch.
No, he never snitches. He just tries to fight her and fails miserably. Which is one of my favorite things about it. I love that he ain't no snitch. He's just gonna try to take care of it himself and ultimately fail. But I mean, we have stuff like, I could see them trying to do like, there were these plasma blades that were intended to like replicate lightsabers. There's the gauntlets. Mm-hmm. There's the null blade. I think that would be really interesting. Of like, you can really play with this stuff. I can see the Jedi at the same time. The Jedi being like, no, Cortosis is a massive threat to us, and they want that gone. They try to destroy that shit.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case, because we do have examples of Jedi using Cortosis. I know it's more often a Sith tool, but I don't see any reason why they wouldn't try it. Again, I feel like this is just going to lead to a conflict over the planet, and who, like, you mentioned it being very peaceful. I don't think it's going to be that way if the Jedi get wind that this planet exists with a bunch of Cortosis on it. Especially we see the
I think it is now. I don't think it's
time. We're going to get some really interesting lightsaber fights.
Dude, we only saw that whip for like half a second, and already I'm like, this is dope.
It's going to be so
But
cool.
also, seeing the scars on Manny clearly being whip marks. Mm-hmm. Some shit happened.
Getting stabbed in the back, man.
Quite literally. Although, is it technically literally being stabbed in the back if the lightsaber is also a whip? I'm not sure how that would work.
No. I also don't know if they're going to focus too much on that, because there could be undertones of, slavery practices and the like. And the way that the Jedi kind of operate as a cult, that could be weird.
Oh, I don't think they're going to I don't think they're going to show it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be fucked up, but I wouldn't be surped.
But I mean, with that,
it would be more of like a battle gone awry or something to that extent. Not
no, I think it was on purpose.
Whipping.
I fully think it was whipping. And they're just
on purpose, but I don't think they're going to get into the specifics of it being her and her whip, because I think that sends the wrong message, to be honest.
Agreed, but at the same time, I could see them doing it.
I'll have to wait
yes,
and see.
It does have some like not great relations to history at large. But I can also very much see it being maybe it is an attempt to take him out before he goes to the Sith. It could be a lot of things. I think we'll, I think we'll know what it was. I just don't think we'll see it.
I think that's fair. We'll know who caused the scarring before the end of this season.
Yeah.
I would assume.
We already do. I know we have. It's still technically speculation, but like it's so clear that it's her.
The show hasn't been subtle when it's come to secret identities.
No.
So I think we're on the right track, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the next 2 episodes.
Yeah. Speaking of some stuff, let's talk. Moving on. Let's talk about what's her name on the planet finding the bodies, and just that absolutely cruel shot of Jecky's body. That was not okay.
No, I still haven't recovered from that and Yord. I'm just like, yikes.
I was like, oh, cool. She's gonna find them and like look into what happened. Smash cut. Half of the screen is taken up by Jackie.
Everyone's dead.
I love also that like this. It's another one of those things like the Sith are just so inconceivable to the Jedi at this point. Of her new apprentice, the only thing that he can think is that Soul went bad. Like that is the only thing that makes sense to this idiot. Whose name is Mog, by the way, which is just a great name. Vernestra, I gotta keep Vernestra's name in my brain because clearly that's gonna be important.
You'll get it by the time we hit episode 8. I'm sure.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up this show and then I'm gonna start remembering it.
And you're just gonna drop it into random conversations, and it's not gonna make sense to anybody.
Well, here's the problem with Vernestra's name is that Ventress is also right there, and frankly, I like Ventress way more. Also, because I've seen Ventress significantly more, so that would make sense. Yeah, I want to talk a little more about the ending because, like, God, that ending is so good. I thought for sure it was going to end on that. I've had 16 years to think about what I'm going to say. You're going to let me say it. Mm-hmm. I thought for sure that was going to be the credits.
I did too. There was a couple times in this episode where I was surprised it kept going.
Yeah, but the way that ended of her putting on the helmet, it being like the point of view going to black, and then the credits roll, and it's just her breathing. Terrifying.
Very Star Wars.
That's some Darth Vader shit.
Oh, 1,000%. And that's, I think by the end of this, that's where she'll end up is as his apprentice. And I think this isn't a story that's going to get told in one season. I do expect and hope that we're going to get additional seasons of this show. I think there's a lot to explore in this time period. And I'm really optimistic to see how they wrap this season and how they, leave strands open for subsequent works or seasons of this show, depending on how they want to tell their story. Either way, I'm invested in this.
I hope,
and I want more of it.
Yeah, I hope my only one hope is that this next week we go back to the witches. I hope we see some more of that. I hope we see how that works within the Jedi, works within the Sith and whatnot. Just because Force witches are always a fun thing for me. We do have to talk about one more thing though in this episode, and that is the proper casualty now of Pip. Pip has been reset.
Factory settings, yeah.
The cruelest and most evil thing May could do.
I hope in my heart of hearts that there's a way to restore his memory, but I know that's probably not the
When
case.
are we going to pull a C-3PO?
Essentially.
I could really see them going either way with it. This show is very interesting to me. Like, we talked about how, like, last week's episode was this major, like, quality increase in a lot of ways, and I do think that this continues with that. I think this is a very quality, fun episode. I'm very much invested for these next 2 episodes. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. We don't have long to wait.
Yeah.
We'll get there when we get there.
Week to week episodes, man. I love it. I love it when we get to talk about it, but God, I hate waiting. I hate it so much.
Yeah, the wait's the hardest part, but we'll get there.
Mm-hmm. Of course, that is next week, though, Mitch. If people want to keep up with us, where can people find us?
At D+us on your platform of choice. YouTube's a great spot. That's where everything definitely goes. Other socials we kind of use sometimes, but not very often. So YouTube's the best place to keep up with what we're doing.
Yeah, check us out there. Check out our wonderful shining faces. Check out some of our other videos. You can check out our normal show, with our most recent episode up right now about Inside Out 2. And some.
Maybe we'll do a trailer react soon. I mean, we've got a new Marvel movie dropping in a couple of weeks. That usually comes with new trailers.
They just dropped a teaser for it a little bit ago, but it was like 30 seconds.
Oh no, I meant more so like whatever's going to be the trailer going into Deadpool.
Good point. I don't know.
There's no more Marvel.
Maybe it would be for whatever the next show is.
Have they done that?
They haven't done that. Well, they
Not
would
theatrically.
Well, yeah, but they could put it out on socials still.
Walt Disney.
I don't know. We'll figure that out. We'll figure out a bunch of stuff out. Go check that out. Stuff. I'm finally working on another video essay
Maybe
that I
another
might actually
Mufasa
finish.
trailer, which I don't want to see.
Mufasa, maybe another Moana trailer. I would love another one of those trailers.
Or a teaser for Lilo and Stitch.
I'm not ready for my heart to be broken like that.
I am. I'm so ready.
Of course, folks, we will see y'all in the next episode. But until then, bright suns and have a magical day.